Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of My English Brain. Now, today's episode is talking about phrasal verbs, but specifically we're talking about phrasal verbs with on. Okay, to start, let's take a look at some of these phrasal verbs you're going to learn today. First we have get on. Then we have count on. Next, we have drag on. And last, we have turn on. Now, I think you can see that all of these use on in the particle. But did you know that they all use on in 4 different ways? And that is the topic of today's lesson. 4 ways to use on in phrasal verbs. Now remember, a phrasal verb is a verb and a particle. Now a particle is basically just a preposition. So common prepositions we use are up, down, in, out, on, and off. But today's lesson, we're focusing on the phrasal verbs that use on. Okay, now the first reason, and the most basic and obvious reason we use on, is to indicate when an object is on top of another object. For example, the cup is on my hand. Now, when I have an object on another object, we can see that there is contact between the 2 objects. So sometimes we also say, my hand is on the cup. It's to represent the contact between the 2 objects. In this example, we can see that he is on the horse. His body is on top of the horse, but also he has the contact between him and the horse. So, when we use on, we emphasize the location of on, but we also emphasize that 2 things have contact or that they are connected when we use on. So, in our first example, we can see get on. Get on means to be on top or to go on top of something else. So, for example, this was his first time getting on a horse. Obviously, the idea is that he is trying to put his body on top of the horse. He gets on the horse. Now, we can also see this idea of contact between 2 things with the phrasal verb put on. Put on means to place on your body. So for example, my pants are a little difficult to put on because I gained a little weight. This is the idea that I'm placing the pants on my body. So we can put on anything that goes into contact with our body. We can put on our hats, we can put on our glasses, we can put on the makeup if we're using makeup, or we can put on the lotion if we're putting lotion on our body. Anything that goes on our body, we put it on. We also see this idea with try on. Try on means to try different clothes and put them on. So for example, my girlfriend tries on at least 4 outfits before she decides which one to wear. This is the idea that she's putting on many different outfits and types of clothes to see if she likes it, to see if it fits. She tries on lots of clothes. Now, the second reason that we use on is to give the idea of support, or that something is depending on another thing. If I put the cup on my hand, but then I take my hand away, what's going to happen? Well, the cup is going to fall. So in a way, my hand is supporting the cup, and the cup depends on my hand to not fall. So in the example, while he was sleeping on the couch, he fell off. The couch was supporting him, that he was depending on the couch. We can see this idea in lots of idioms that we use. For example, you might hear someone say, I'm on it, or I'm on top of it. This means, hey, don't worry, I will take responsibility for this thing. I will support you in this, or you can depend on me for this. So if your boss says, you need to help with this project, you can say, I'm on top of it. Like, don't worry, I will do my best. You can depend on me. We can also see this in the phrasal verb count on. Count on means to depend on or to trust another person. If you think about counting the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can have lots of confidence in the numbers that I know. Numbers are very dependable. So in this context, I can count on the numbers. They are very dependable, and I can count on people because they are very dependable. So for example, I can always count on my friends to be there for me when I need help. I can always trust that my friends will be there. They are very dependable. Now, again, we have this idea with the verb hinge on. Hinge on means to be contingent on or to depend on. So if you don't know, a hinge is a part of the door that allows it to open and close, to swing open and close. Now, if I don't have a hinge, I don't have a door. The hinge allows the door to be a door and to open and to close. So in this context, if I don't have the hinge, it's not going to work. So if I say, learning to speak a language hinges on the amount of time you spend practicing it, this is the idea that the amount of time that you spend practicing is needed for you to learn a language. So it hinges on the amount of time that you spend practicing. Without practicing, it won't work. It hinges on it. Now, the third reason that we use on in phrasal verbs is to give the idea that we are starting something, or activating something, or stimulating something. Now, if you think about your phone, my phone is not activated. So what do I need to do to activate the phone? I need to touch the phone, and I need to put my finger on the phone. So when I have this contact and I put my finger on the phone, that stimulates the phone. It brings it to life. It starts it. It activates it. So that's why we use on, this idea of contact, to indicate when we start something. We can see this in a lot of places. For example, if I say something is on fire, this is the idea that someone needed to activate the fire. Somebody started the fire. It is on fire. Again, we can use this with electronics to say the TV is on. Someone needed to touch the TV for it to be on and active and stimulated. So, one of the most basic phrasal verbs that we use in this idea is turn on and turn off. Turn on means to activate, and turn off means to deactivate. So, if you're in a room and you think, it's kind of dark in here, can we turn on a light? You're saying, can we activate the light? Now, we can use turn on and turn off for basically any type of electronic. Anything that uses electricity, we need to turn it on to activate it and turn it off to deactivate it. So the things that we turn on and off are lights, TVs, computers, phones, microwaves, ovens, anything that uses electricity. We turn it on when we want to use it. We turn it off when we don't want to use it anymore. This also is the case with water. When we want the water to come out, we need to turn it on. And when we're finished, we want it to turn off. So in the morning, you need to turn on the shower. And then when you wash your hands, you need to turn on the sink. And if you go outside and the plants need water, you need to turn on the garden hose. So we can also use this idea of turn on and turn off with people. When you want to turn on a person, this means that you are stimulating them in a sexual way. So for example, the sexy dance turned him on. This is the idea that he is stimulated from the dance in a sexual way. It makes him feel sexual. We can also use this in an adjective. For example, he is turned on. Oh yeah. But the opposite is also true for turn off. Turn off means to not sexually stimulate, or when you are stimulated, it turns you off. So for example, bad breath turns me off. I don't like it. It makes me feel gross. It turns me off. But we can also use it as an adjective and say, I'm turned off. The next phrasal verb is cheer on. Cheer on means to motivate or to encourage someone to try hard. So in the example, my parents always cheered me on in sports and in academics. This means that they always encouraged me, they always motivated me to try my best at these things. They cheered me on. Now, we also see this idea with egg on. Now, egg on is similar because it means to encourage or to motivate someone, but the difference is you're encouraging someone to do something bad, to do something that is not correct. So for example, his friends egged him on to steal a piece of candy from the store. So in this context, they are encouraging him or they are motivating him to do something that is bad, to do something that is not good for him. Next we have bring on. Bring on means to lead to or to cause one thing to happen. So for example, if you push a domino, it will bring on the other dominoes to fall. It will cause the other dominoes to fall. We can use this for all types of cause and effect relationships. So for example, scientists believe that the use of fossil fuels brought on global warming. The idea is that what is the cause of global warming? It is the use of fossil fuels. Fossil fuels brought on global warming. Now the fourth reason that we use on in phrasal verbs is in the context of time, but specifically when we think about things continuing in time or things that keep going in time. So on is related to this idea of time, and we can see it in some of the phrases we use like, hey, you are right on time. So in the context of time, if you think of time as a ride that all of us are on, going forward into the space of time, we are all on it. We are all on this ride of going forward in time. So we can see this idea when we say go on. Go on means to keep going forward, and specifically to keep going forward in time. So in the example, as time goes on, I see how I have grown as a person. This means as time has passed, as time keeps going forward, things go on if they keep going forward. But we also use this idea, for example, to indicate we need to go on, we need to keep going forward. We have an idiom in English that says, the show must go on. The idea is that you must keep going, you must keep trying. If bad things happen that prevent you from finishing, you have to say, no, I need to try and finish the show. The show must go on. Now, another common way we use this is with the phrasal verb work on. Work on means to try and accomplish something. If you are trying to accomplish something, you are constantly putting in work. You're continuing to work every day for your goal. So for example, you are working on improving your English. You are watching this video right now. You are taking lessons. You are reading a book. You are learning new vocabulary. Every day it's a process and it's continual. So you are working on learning English. So I want to know, what are you working on in your life right now? What are the things that you are trying to accomplish that you continually work for every day? In my example, I'm saying, I'm working on making better YouTube videos for you guys. So in the comments below, tell me, what is it that you are working on? Alright, now, the other phrasal verb we have with on is drag on. Drag on means to keep going when we actually want it to stop or when it probably should stop. So the verb drag means to pull something, but specifically to pull something that doesn't want to move. It's difficult to pull something when we drag it. It doesn't want to move. It doesn't want to keep going in this context. So if there's something that keeps going and you want it to stop, we can say that it drags on. For example, the movie dragged on and on and on. It was such a long movie. The idea is that a 4-hour movie is too long. It feels too long. It drags on and it should stop, or it should stop sooner. Okay, so those are the 4 ways that we use on in the phrasal verbs. We use it to talk about the physical location of on, but also that contact and that connection that we use with on. We use it also in the idea of supporting something or to depend on something else. We use it in the idea of activating it or to stimulate it. And we use it in the idea of continuing forward in time. Okay, so that's it for today's lesson, guys. You did a great job today. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications. Don't forget to check out the next videos with phrasal verbs and all the other videos that I'm making. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and always remember to use your English brain.